you guys are only going to get so much access. But if you could be there, what would be the most intriguing aspect of camp? If you could go follow one coach, one assistant coach, one position unit, and you could see every rep and you could just be standing right next to him the whole time and be fascinated throughout the month of August to see what happens, what group would that be?
That's a real good one because, y'all kind of both talked about your dream in the industry, and I've shared this with Chris plenty. My kind of dream is to be that guy that's at every practice. I want to be in all those press availabilities. This is a really good one. You know, this is really tough because I want to say Tony Tokar's in the quarterbacks, but at the same time, Alex Atkins is just such a phenom at what he does. And I just love the way his mind works. He's such a young guy, and his evaluations, the way he deals with his players, and how he just gets the absolute most out of every guy that he gets in. And you just, the way his players talk about him, it's like he bridges that gap between being that, adult coach, leadership figure, this strict guy, enforcer, but also being, somebody who knows exactly what it's like to be in their shoes. In that unit, there's so many different options, so many different, permutations we could have on that line. We were talking about it today. Yeah, I want to get in there and I want to see what the battle is going to be like with, you know, Jeremiah and Robert Scott over there on the right side of the line. I want to see, if Bless Harris can be consistent and hold down that left tackle spot, all the way through to LSU. So I'd probably have to say Alex Atkins in that offensive line. There's just so much there and it goes so deep. I'd really love to see, be a bird, a fly on the wall there for all their meetings and everything else.
Chris, you can either take that on or just anything about fall camp that you think is important this month.
So me personally, Coach Tony Tokarts is definitely one of those gentlemen that I think everybody would love to be able to see how he gets the quarterbacks prepared and everything. And that would be a huge pick as mine as well. But if I had to pick one right now, it'd be Patrick Surtain and the DB room. I would love to see how he gets guys prepared. The cool thing is, I kind of already seen some of it, but I would like to be able to follow it all day long for at least a week, every second of it, because just the minor things that he showed the DBs and hip rotation, leverage hands, like everything that he's taught them in such a short amount of time of being there for spring. Um, our DBs look night and day different from last year, and they've only been with him for a very short period of time. So to be able to see exactly what it is that he's going to throw on them now in fall camp, when we're getting, within just weeks of game day, I would love to see just what it is that he does bearing down with these young men and getting them ready for the next step. Because he says that he doesn't want one DB coming through his program as the DB without making it to the NFL. He says that he knows that that's not a huge probability, but he's damn sure going to act like it's a possibility. So when people make statements like that, and they want each and every young man that comes to them in that program to be successful at the highest level, which would be getting into the NFL. For him to not want to miss on one, and for him to show how he would do that, I think it would be extraordinary for everyone to see.
Is there a particular player or a position group that you think this is an especially important camp for?
Yeah, I think player wise, who it's especially like it's going to be really really good for is Keziah Holmes, the running back that transferred from Penn State. I've been telling everyone that that's my dark horse of most effectiveness on the field for Florida State. We all know Trey Benson. We know what he brings to the table. We also know what he worked on during the offseason and what he's trying to accomplish this year. But Keziah Holmes is probably one of the most talented running backs Florida State's had in quite some time, and that's no knock on anybody that's been previous to this. But he has the vision of Trayshawn Ward, which is what we all loved about Trayshawn, but he has the top speed and power of Benson. So he's like the perfect mix of both. And those are the words of Trey Benson. Those aren't my words. He was the one that told everyone that Keziah Holmes was by far one of the best running backs that he had ever seen. And that's saying something, because when you're a running back yourself, it's hard to admit someone else could be better than you. But Keziah Holmes, it's big for, because we really need him to see how this line works. We need him to understand, what holes he's supposed to be hitting. And with his patience running, I think it's important to know exactly what it is that we're doing. Everybody that's watching should know that Florida State loves the counter play. We love either going to the Y gap or G gap. We like one of the two. And I think it's going to be very important for Keziah being the new running back, on campus. I think it's going to be really important for him to understand which way we're going and why we're doing it.